Hello again, Safer today here with some tips on managing boredom. Uh, how do you manage boredom, right? When you're on a long meeting or you're on a teleconference or you're in a waiting room, either at the doctor's or the dentist's or anywhere else. We always have this mighty computer at our fingertips. We can do all kinds of things, right? You can take a break and you catch up on your social media. You get to know what everybody else is doing. Somebody's got a cool new toy. Now, there's a seed in your mind that, hey, you would like that toy as well, right? This thing is a blessing and a curse, right? It's with us. It can tell anybody where we are at all times. We're never away from it, right? So let's talk about ways that we can reduce our dependence on those things. You likely already have a job, so they probably don't like you staring at your phone all the time throughout the day. Yeah, we do. Uh, Circle of life, right? So, one thing I always recommend to people is learning something useful and then filling up your break time and your boring and your waiting times with that learning something useful. In this case, I love these. I buy these all the time. They're cheap. It comes with a little carabiner, red and a blue rope, and this really cool waterproof guide here that teaches you all kinds of knots. Really cool knots. Let me get this out of the light. Anyway, you can find these on Amazon. You can probably get these at thepronot.com. As you see on the beaner there, they go through a number of useful knots that you'll use and that you can practice. I love doing this when I'm at a waiting room. Instead of looking at my phone, I'll grab out my little guide, or I'll see if I can do it from memory. And I'll just keep doing them over and over again until I've got them memorized. And then I try to use them in ways that they're designed for, right? I'll go into more of that in depth later. This is just more of planting the seeds of getting yourself out of your leash, right? You know, do something cool instead of, while you're waiting for your appetizer, instead of grabbing that phone and rotting your brain. Another thing I like to do, I bring a small book with me. This one was gifted to me a while back when I lost my father. 3-minute prayers for men. And I'm waiting at least 3 minutes, at the very least, in any kind of waiting room, whether you're at Jiffy Lube or, again, the dentist. And it gives me something to ponder. It gives me something to think about. It gives me a way I can grow. How can I be better? How can I process what I'm going through better than I did before I came into this situation, right? Another idea, field notes. Some people like the Write in the Rain books as well. I'm not that high speed because I'm not doing that much stuff out in the rain because I have an office job. If I'm doing anything out in the rain, it's on the property, and I'm not writing down notes anyway. I'm taking care of business, right? But field notes, pocket size, they're great. They have grid marked paper. You kind of make out of it what you will. But I write to-do lists on here. I write my thoughts. If I'm struggling with something or if there's an idea I have for something, it's always there. I always have a pen. If you don't like carrying a full-size pen, just grab a space pen, the Fisher space pen. When extended, is about this size, but then it takes apart and comes to about that size. Fits in every pocket. Also, the pocket pens are like that too, only they're disposable. So if you want more refills, go for the space pen. If you like consumables, then go with the pocket pens. But there's always something you can get into. I love this because not only does it give me a track record of things, it lets me see what I accomplished. It lets me see what I was thinking about on a particular day. And, my class training, I'll take my notes after a class just to make sure that I grasped it, because I'd rather spend my time listening to what was going on and then forcing myself to remember, especially if we have hands-on drills. Hands-on drills really drill that book portion and you get repetition out of it. And then I like to go back and see, what was yesterday? What was yesterday me thinking? What does tomorrow's me think about yesterday's me? There's just little things that keep you out of the that dopamine that we get when you see somebody like your post, or a bear farts in the woods and somebody caught it and he gets all stupid about it, and you're, did you really learn anything that day? Other things, maybe not something you'll do in a waiting room, but you're at home and you can't think of anything to do. You've played your PlayStation way too much, and now you want to get into something else. Grab yourself a training knife. $7. Learn something. Learn something from a book. Practice against a dummy. You don't have a dummy? Learn how to make a dummy. Whittle. Take up whittling. I was at a survival class in 2016, and we got a piece of cedar siding, or spindles, like you use on a deck. And we used those to start working on primitive spoons. My spoon didn't turn out the way I liked it, so I made kind of a training knife out of it. But it's also a good pocket stick, and it smells really good too. But I did all this with just a knife and then some sandpaper. Easy to do. Don't know where to start? Grab yourself a book. Whittling book. And a pocket knife. You can use your old Swiss Army knife. You can even get special whittling knives. It doesn't matter. Just find something. Do it. What else? Another waiting room scenario. Oh, basic and primitive navigation. Read up on it. Read the things, and then go practice the things on a day that you feel like you might be bored, and you can get to the woods. Not all of you can do that, right? Some of you live in apartment complexes. That's fine. Go to a state park. Go to a county park. Go somewhere. You can get some dirt time right out there in the apartment grounds, too. You don't have to be out in the wilderness to experience wilderness skills. Another thing that I love, that I've been experimenting with, are these little timers. So you get these timers, right? You set it up. I want 3 minutes. I set it down. It's counting down for 3 minutes for me now. See, there goes the countdown. That's 3 minutes of doing something. So give yourself a 3 minute, or 5 minute, or 10 minute. And it'll beep obnoxiously when it's finished. But give yourself that time to reflect on, what it is you're doing, what you hope to gain from the moment. These are all things that will help you know who you... These things will help you know who you want to be when you grow up, what you want to be when you grow up. These are the things that will force you to look inside yourself and see what it is you really want out of life. These are the moments that we rob ourselves when we're tackling another game of Candy Crush, or we're trying to beat our Sudoku score. Those are great in moderation, but far too often I see people turning right to this. You'll see a family sitting in the living room. Everybody's on the phone. Nobody's watching the movie. Something's got to give. So those times that you're bored and you're tempted to reach for the tech, just go out, do something, enjoy yourself, learn something new. One thing, my former dojo, before I moved, my instructor had sent me a meme, and it said, "Never be afraid to suck at something new." That's probably my favorite thing I've ever heard, because so many times I have robbed myself of wonderful experiences because I was afraid of what other people might think, or that I didn't know enough, and then people would, call me some kind of noob, or get good, or some kind of whatever trolling BS that people do these days. And apparently we care about what people think about us. Well, don't be afraid to suck at something new. Go do it. You are worth the effort. This is just one in a series of things as I go into more examples. Right now, I've just given you kind of an outline of what to do, or what to think. Maybe change your thought patterns on what really matters. On those times where you feel bored and you feel like, hey, there really is nothing to do. We've got too much to do. Unfortunately, a lot of it soaks up useless time. So let's find a way to build each other up. Tell me, what do you do when you're bored? How do you unwind when you need a break? What kind of me time do you give yourself? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe. 50 subscribers I'm looking for. I'll give you an age reveal. You can probably guess pretty quickly, but it'll keep things fun, right? Anyway, this is Safer Today, signing off. Until next time, have a great one.